Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How often do you stop to consider the blessings you have in life? Thank you for joining us today. At Wesley Mission, we run a number of programmes to benefit our community. We also run programmes that are designed to enable young adults, staff and congregational life members alike to find purposes as well as avenues to express their own faith. Later in the programme, I'll be speaking to two young adults who took part in an outreach programme that Wesley Mission ran in the centre of our city called Wesley Urban Mission. For regular viewers to this programme, you remember I spoke to Rick Dacey about this a number of weeks ago. Today we'll hear a little bit how the work has impacted the lives of just two young people who rolled up their sleeves and served as missionaries, if you like, in their own city. And I'll be joined by my friends Jim and Alex Patterson from the Borderers singing What the Lord Has Done For Me. And I'll share some thinking from Mark chapter 13. I'm going to talk with one of those challenges from the Bible passage that I've talked about, which is so often ignored. It's important to talk about last things. Evangelism is at the centre of everything we do at Wesley Mission. In Australia, our work started with a missionary called the Rev Samuel Lee, arriving on our shores over 200 years ago. And indeed, our name is also our purpose. We are a mission in our city, in our state and country. Here's a look at Wesley Urban Mission.
My name's Jess Warner and I look after Wesley Vision Valley out at Arcadia. But this week, I get to be the director for the Wesley Urban Mission program. Wesley Urban Mission is a local mission trip, so we're working with a whole bunch of youth groups around the Sydney area. We're bringing them to Cockatoo Island to camp with them for a week, and then during the day we're doing a whole bunch of different service opportunities. Like today, we're at the Edward Eagle Lodge working with our homeless services.
Urban Mission has come into Wesley Mission's Edward Eagle Lodge just for this one day of their week's program. Edward Eagle Lodge is a crisis accommodation service, so the young people involved in Urban Mission are getting an opportunity to sort of understand a bit more about homelessness and have a chance to help out.
For Edward Eagle Lodge, we were able to help with their open wardrobe this morning and really help Polly and the team get the wardrobe ready, make it a nice, safe environment for our residents to come in and to collect any items that they really feel that they needed this week.
As well as helping out with the open wardrobe this morning, the first group involved in Urban Mission were involved in a food challenge. All of the donations coming from the food challenge that they were involved in will be coming to the lodge, where we will pack them up and our casework team will distribute them to all of our external clients who are living in transitional housing or sleeping rough.
Today so far, I think I've just learnt how to be appreciative of what we have, because we did the food challenge. We were asked a lot of really hard questions about whether we would spend money on this or on that. And I think it just made us realise how hard it is for some people to live.
Before, if I saw a homeless guy, I'd probably avoid him and stuff because he's like a homeless person and I would have nothing to do with him. But now coming to Urban Mission and learning stuff, when I see a homeless person, I look at them like a normal person, like how I'm treated, how I'll be treated. So yeah, this is what I've learned so far.
The reason we're doing Wesley Urban Mission is we want kids to have their eyes open to what their lives can mean, when they're not just looking at how they serve themselves, but they're looking at how they engage with others and what it means to live lives of love.
I'm really passionate about my community, but living where I'm living, it's kind of hard to find opportunities to volunteer in a way that I feel would be really worthwhile. So I think I really want to come here, not just for the volunteering for community, but also for all the worship that happens afterwards, and just to make sure that I'm just in this environment where it's not just about ourselves, it's about God and His people. And I think it's a really amazing experience, and that's why I wanted to come.
These kids are giving up a week of their school holidays to serve. And what they don't know is how much they're going to be changed by the experience of serving people on the margins. We are seeing already, even in the midst of the week, we're seeing kids' eyes being opened and their lives being changed. And the great thing is that it doesn't stop with them. They go home and they share this with their families, they share it with their churches, they share it with their schools, and pretty soon people start seeing in them this passion, and other people in their churches and their schools and their families, they want to experience it too. And so it's a catalyst event. It's not intended just to teach them some lessons, but actually to ignite a spark.
If you would like to see more of the work of Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can watch loads more videos, catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact TV, find out about our diverse range of services, and get involved to help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and stay up to date on the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
So please don't hesitate to be in touch if you'd like to find out more of what we do in the total life of Wesley Mission. Our website again is wesleymission.org.au. The final command from Jesus to his disciples and to his followers was to go into all the world and make disciples of all people in all nations. In my years as a minister, sending people on short and long-term mission trips has been very, very impactful upon their lives. Not only upon their lives, but the communities that they've served. But they themselves come back different people. Quite often, such a person returns with a greater appreciation of their faith, a better understanding of God's love. Today, I'm joined by two young adults who took part in our first ever Wesley Urban Mission. Zhu and Marty Cornford have both been part of this. Summer, why did you take part in Wesley Urban Mission?
Well, I realise that there's a need everywhere, and I think there's a need especially in our city, and I realise that we have a group of incredible young people who have such a passion for life and passion for Jesus, and what better way to do that than in their own neighbourhood with their friends in our city that we live in.
So when you saw it advertised, you said, I want to be part of that, really?
Yeah, and I just really feel like it's something that every young person needs to know, that they can make a change wherever they're at, no matter what they're doing, that they can make a change.
How did it come about for you then?
Well, Corey, my youth pastor, and Rick Dacey, they worked together because they used to go on work camps back in the States, and they thought it would be a great idea to do something like that in Sydney. So they came and approached me and asked me if they wanted to be a part of it and planning it and seeing how it would work in the context of Sydney.
What about raising the money that was necessary to do it? How did participants do that?
Yeah, so we used to, when we used to raise money for our camps, we used to sell shares. So we would ask the congregation, would you like to buy into the investment into the lives of these kids? And so we sold shares to our congregation, and they gladly invested into the kids' lives.
And for many, it involved much more than that, didn't it, really? Some people washed cars, mowed lawns, and did all kinds of things to be part of it. Marty, what were some of the things that you have in mind as highlights of the week?
I think one of them, on the first day, on the Monday, we went to the David Morgan Centre, which is the Centre for People with Disabilities, and we went and helped out with their work. Like, we put nutrition information on Hershey bars and just helped them, and it was great to be able to see how much they enjoyed us being there, and to be able to put a smile on their face by just serving them was really, really cool.
And also realising that these people, you can work alongside them, can't you? It's marvellous. Yeah. So were you impacted by what you did during the week?
Definitely, yeah.
How? Tell us how you were.
Well, it was just to be able to, like, with us serving, it was kind of feeling God doing his work. Like, I think we all felt God being there and working through us, doing what we were doing, serving our own community. So
somebody, it felt like you were really doing something, if I put it simply, really worthwhile.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think every single moment these kids just had a moment of realization that they could make a change, regardless of how small their action was, that together, as a group of people, that they made a huge difference wherever they were.
Yeah, and a pop star joined you one morning, is that right?
Yes. So we got to see Justin Bieber. None of us expected it. I definitely didn't expect it. It was a huge surprise and just a blessing to be able to take part of that as well.
Yeah, that's great, really. And was it important to all living together for the week as well? Because I think if you come in every morning and gone off and done it, it wouldn't have been so easy, that would it? They're doing it together.
Yeah, because it was a good way to be able to bond a lot more as well, to be able to be together, sleep together, eat together, and a good time to bond as a group.
What would you say to a young person who's thinking about this? Would you recommend it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we're going to do it again. And really, how for you has your faith grown?
It's grown a lot. Like, I could really see God there, like, a lot more than I had any other time. Like, when we were worshipping and when we were serving, just be able to feel God's presence and working through us, I think that was...
Look, I think one of the things that I really love is when people find it's an easy move from doing to honouring God. So you actually doing things that you believe is right, but then you turn to worship and it's as natural as just moving from one room to another, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, and I'm hoping that's one of the things that's come about out of it for you. And if somebody was considering coming on this experience, what's the one thing you would say that would be absolutely essential that they know to get them in on the buy? What would it be?
I just think that the young people of this generation, they're called to so much more than they are living right now. And I think that, you know, when we step into everything that God has for us, like, that's when we truly become ourselves. And I think that, like, these young people just need to know that, you know, they need to know that there's a practical way of doing that too, outside of their own everyday life, that they can really just take that 1 week out of their life and just really give it up to God and see what God can do with that. And I think that's so powerful.
What about you? Do you feel the same way, or is there other things that for you are important?
No, I think Summer got it there. Like,
And actually giving time to do something. And do you think that young people, if they saw this, just for a minute, they would say, I want that too?
I think so. Like, to be able to see the happiness and joy that we could bring people, like, I think, like, it's contagious and people would definitely want to be a part of that.
And you didn't have to go to the other side of the world to do a missionary trip?
Just in Cockatoo Island, it's heaps close. So
I bet if you talk to people at school, at college, at university, you'd say to them, we're going on a missions trip. They would say, oh, where are you going to? Some fancy place in Asia? No, Sydney.
Yeah.
People think you're stupid. But there is so much, isn't there, in our own city here and in each of the cities around Australia that are so important. It's wonderful to talk to you, to see how faith can impact your young lives and might make a difference into the future. Carrying on this theme is Jim and Alex from the Borderers. They're good friends of mine, and they're now going to sing What the Lord Has Done in Me.
Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Hosanna, Hosanna to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Into the river I will wade. There my sins are washed away. From the heavens mercy streams of the Savior's love for me. I will rise from waters deep into the saving arms of God. I will sing salvation songs. Jesus Christ has set me free. Hosanna, Hosanna to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. poor say I am rich. Let the blind say I can see. It's what the Lord has done in me. Hosanna, Hosanna to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Hosanna, Hosanna to the Lamb that was slain. Hosanna, Hosanna, Jesus died and rose again. Let the weak say, I am strong.
It's been 200 years since the first Methodists met in Australia. To celebrate 2 centuries of faith and pioneering care, CEO and presenter Rev Dr Keith Garner takes us back to where it all began.
But we don't begin here at the heart of London. We begin in a town in the north of England.
In this fascinating narrative, Reverend Garner chronicles the history of the life and times of the founder of Methodism, John Wesley. This fresh and thought-provoking documentary takes us on a journey throughout the United Kingdom, beginning in John Wesley's hometown of Epworth.
John Wesley was born here on the 17th of June, 1703.
This 1-hour DVD travels onto his education years and beginnings of social justice in Oxford, to his final years in London. For more information on John Wesley, the man and his mission, call 02 9263 5555 or email us at impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
Mark 13 is a very unique chapter in the Gospels. It looks to the end of time. It begins with a lesson from the temple. Let me read to you from Mark 13, just 1 and 2, verses 1 and 2. As Jesus was leaving the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Look, teacher, what massive stones, what magnificent buildings." "Do you see all these great buildings?" replied Jesus. "Not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." It was an observation by the disciples about the beauty, the grandeur, if you like, of the temple. Yet Jesus' response to the disciples is that it'll become a pile of rubble, even though at this time it was still in the latter stages of completion. What follows is a list of things that will take place before the end of time. And you read this list and it could feel like almost a contemporary examination of the state of our world. It talks about wars and rumours of wars. Well, you can't turn on the television, read a newspaper, go on net and not find that that's actually happening all the time. Nations rising against nations. That division that's going on between the power brokers of the world. Earthquakes, famines, and so on. Now, you don't need me to remind you that those things are happening around our world. Yet when the words of Jesus, "These are the beginnings of birth pains," are said, I think that's a very key and significant place. There are a number of ways of reading the passage. You can read it as a prediction, or you can read it as a description, or perhaps as both. There's certainly not crystal ball stuff, this. This is not talking about a world that none of us know anything about. At Wesley Mission, we run a number of programs that involve young children. Young children are born into this world. We've had 2 grandchildren this year that have been born during this year, making 8 altogether. And I know that a child comes into this world and hardly ever comes into this world without the mother passing through sickness and invariably pain. And I think that's really what Jesus is saying about this world and about the end time of this world. The words point, however, to hope. And I think that's really important because very soon we'll be thinking about that message of Jesus. But we realise that this kingdom message is one of hope. It tells us later on in chapter 13, in verse 26 and 27, "At that time people will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory, and he will send his angels and gather his elect from the 4 winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of the heavens." Wow, what a picture. Signs about the end times are actually linked to hope. And you know, one of the things I learned from that conversation with our young people is that hopelessness is to be seen all around, even amongst successful young people who've got everything that they might hope for in this world, and yet feeling still an emptiness, a longing for something more. And I really do believe that it's important that we raise up pictures, if you like, cameos, examples and aspirations and dreams of what hope can look like. When I look at words, I often ask myself, what does that word mean? So when I talk about hope, I'm not just talking about, oh, well, I'm hoping my cricket team will win. I'm not hoping that the footy team will do well. I'm hoping that I might get a job. No, I think we're talking about something more profound. Hope has actually got some substance about it. It's about something that Jesus brings to us, bringing meaning and purpose and confidence about life, helping us to see, if you like, fleshed out what it really means to live life to the full. And the comparison between hopelessness and hope is very, very real. And it's something that we recognise that life lies in the balance for many people. And the greatest thing that we can offer to people, whether it's in the city of Sydney through a programme such as we've talked about today, or whether it's in our everyday life and witness, is to bring hope into people's lives. At Wesley Mission, we often have to do that with some people who sit on the margins of life, who often feel that they've been rejected, they don't count for anything. But in Jesus Christ, all people count. And I think that conviction is what can enable us to go, if you like, to the edges of the world. And the world isn't just a global world. When it says in the Great Commission, go into all the world, it didn't just mean go to America, go to England, go to Singapore. It meant really go into every part of life. So the world is not just the world. It's the world of art, it's the world of science, it's the world of poverty, it's the world of pain. Go into all the world and preach and live and serve and demonstrate the gospel in all its fullness. When we do that, we begin to express hope. We begin, I think, to discover hope for ourselves. It's even possible to be a Christian and to have never really discovered for ourselves what hope looks like for us and how we can share that hope with other people, how we can demonstrate what that hope might be for them. For some people, hope might just be for them, meaning I've got a meal this evening, I've got somewhere to sleep. But hope is usually much bigger than that which is near. It's I've got a purpose, I count, I'm valued, I really have a dignity about my life. And I think that's what Jesus came to bring. And really many of those people that were trying to trip him and trap him really had it in that they had the right things and the others didn't. Jesus Christ spells hope.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235. Or you can send an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also connect to Keith's blog and stay up to date on all of the latest news and information from Wesley Mission. wesleymission.org.au.
Well, thanks very much for joining us today. I think really, you know, our greatest message at Wesley Mission is about hope. And if you're in one of those places where you feel that life has perhaps not been fair, circumstances are difficult, you really need some new hope, please don't hesitate to write. Be in touch. It's always a delight to answer questions, however hard they are, or receive comments from people about today's programme. And if you want to know more information on Wesley Urban Life, it's a wonderful programme that we run in our city, and you can find out more on the Wesley Mission website. Summer, how has being part of a local mission trip impacted your own personal faith?
What you said before was so right, just bringing hope into every aspect of my life. And I think being part of this program has shown me that no matter where I am, where I'm placed, no matter where I'm going, no matter what destination I'm at, that I can always be that beacon of light for people in their life. And I think that has impacted me so much.
And do you think you're changed because of it?
I think it's a change, definitely. I've begun to see that little things that I do in my life, whether it be my family, whether it be at university, they all impact and they all matter. And so I think that's the one thing that's changed, yeah.
Summer, thank you for that. Marty, you've got the big advert moment. Somebody's watching the programme and they're sharing with us, they're observing your excitement of what you've been through. They've seen the films and the shots that we've got. They're saying to themselves, I think I might go along and be part of that programme. You tell them now, you've got the big... What would you say to them?
Well, if you want to serve, if you want to see God's light, if you want to share your happiness and give other people hope and be able to do all that, then this is definitely what you want to do, and see the joy that it will bring other people who need it and haven't had that. It's really rewarding.
And same question to you, have you been changed by it?
Definitely.
That really is important, isn't it? Our email address and website again is impacttv@wesleymission.org.au, and you can go on the website at Wesley Mission and you can hear so much. I hope you've appreciated the thoughts from Mark 13. Do join us next week, same time, for another episode of Wesley Impact. Thank you and God bless you.
Wesley Mission has more than 3,000 volunteers who help us provide our care and services. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.